After a couple minutes. Hope you're hungry because today we are going to be cooking some magnificent, absolutely mouth-watering bison burgers. To get started, we will want our bison because it is incredibly high in protein and a little bit leaner than most beef. So these bison burgers are going to have about 500 calories each, although I'm not counting because I eat intuitively, train well, don't need to be micro-tracking this and that, but in case you haven't quite gotten to that level of fitness, they have about 500 calories each. They have about 40 grams of protein, which is about 20% of the protein that I will eat in a given day. And they have about 30 grams of carbs, mainly in the seed oil-free buns that we're going to be using. And they have about 25 grams of fat because, you know, there's a lot of animal fat here, which I like. So to get started, we want to have some cheese sliced. We're going to have organic pepper jack because we like the spice, garlic, onions, jalapenos, Parmesan cheese because it's delicious, salt, extra virgin olive oil, and of course the bison and the buns, along with basic equipment, cutting board, spatula, pan, and let's not forget the chef's favorite, the paper towels. Paper towels will remove moisture from the meat, allowing it to sear properly on the pan. First step, we're going to grab a knife that I forgot to tell you last time, but that's okay, because hopefully you have a cutting knife. And we're going to mash the garlic, which is the cheat code separating the outside casing, unless you're lazy and you want to buy it pre-peeled, which I would actually recommend doing. It's not going to be as fresh, but we like to cut corners when we can because we are not Michelin star chefs. We are bro chefs trying to cook delicious food in under 25 minutes every time. So we're going to continue to peel this off. And then we're going to get to dicing. I like to cut these little end pieces off because I'm a little bit of a prima donna about what I'm going to eat, and I don't like those textures, as well as any aesthetic deformities that probably aren't bad for me, but I just don't want to be eating because sometimes I eat like a 4-year-old. And that's okay too. So now that we have removed the aesthetic deformities from our garlic, we're going to chop it all up. And we're going to put our garlic to the side. And now we're going to focus on slicing and dicing our jalapenos. The red ones, a little bit spicier in my experience. The green ones look like jalapenos. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut the end piece off first. We're going to cut it lengthwise. And then we're going to cut it again lengthwise after turning it about 90 degrees. And then, now that it's quartered, we're going to slice smaller pieces of jalapenos like this. Wonderful. And then last step, we're going to take some Parmesan cheese, just kind of mix it in the center right here. That's good. That's enough for a pound of meat. And then we will unpackage the bison. When you're ready to unpackage the bison, we will lay our paper towel down, slice the bison open. This is a pound, in case you're wondering. You get it from Costco. They keep them in 20-ounce bundles. This is 1 pound. And what we are going to do is we're going to add salt. First of all, we're going to dehydrate both sides a little bit. Then we're going to add some salt. For a pound, we're probably going to go about a tablespoon and a half, perhaps. I eyeball it. I'm pretty good at these sorts of games. I'm going to spread this salt all around. And then we're going to place the pound of bison burger meat in the center, and we're just going to mix. We could do this in a bowl. Probably be a little bit cleaner to do it in a bowl, but got the cutting board right in front of us, so that's what we're going to do. Now, once these have been fairly reasonably mixed together, we're going to break them up into about 4 different 4-ounce patties. Now they're ready to cook on the pan. Before we throw our bison burgers on the pan, we're going to want to slice up our onion because we're going to saute these onions so they get a little bit warm before we put them on the bison burger. We'll remove the outside. I like to do this after I slice it, just a little bit easier that way. As well as these little things in the center. Don't know what those are for. We're going to take them out. And we have some nice onions to saute while everything else cooks. We're going to add extra virgin olive oil to the pan. Probably add a couple tablespoons because this is lean meat. It's going to need a little bit of help. And we're going to have a second pan. Probably going to add about 1.5 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil to the back. And while we are cooking our burgers and onions, we're going to toast our wonderful seed oil free buns. Give it about 5 minutes toasting. Now, once we see a little bit of smoke coming from the pan, we are ready to throw these bad boys on. Ideally, you'll be wearing some sort of apron to protect yourself from burns. But Chef Alex got a method to sell, so he's going to keep his abs exposed. Now that the onions are getting a little bit caramelized, we'll flip them. Make sure both sides get exposure to the hot pan. Chef Alex almost had an outtake, but he didn't. It's that second baseman's hands, Vanderbilt baseball. And after the burgers have been cooking for a couple minutes, I'm going to use my bro intuition and say they need about a minute more before we're going to flip them. Because we want to keep our burgers a little bit rare, we'll flip them right now. They might not be perfectly charred. I mean, that's pretty good. Ideally, we want a little bit more. Maybe we put a little bit less olive oil in the pan next time. And then we'll flip them. Once we flip them, we will add our cheese to the burgers, cover it with anything, and then our onions are nice and caramelized. take them off. Let these burgers sit for about 3 minutes. Take the bun out of the toaster, put them on so you're ready to have them. After a couple minutes, bad boys are ready to be placed on the buns. If we want to double up, we can. That'll make it about 70 grams of protein. If we want to double it up, make it about 800 calories. But we will leave you that choice. We're not going to double them up right now. Here we have our wonderful garlic jalapeno bison burgers, 40 grams of protein, 500 calories. Let's see how we did. Oh, wow. Chef Alex says miss.